I remember the moment like it was yesterday. We were arguing again, and suddenly she looked at me with frustration in her eyes and said, "You just don't understand me." And I believed her, not just in that moment, but for years after. That one sentence, 6 simple words, became the filter through which I saw everything in our relationship. I told myself, maybe I really can't understand her. I'm not a woman. I don't feel what she feels. Maybe there's something about being a man that makes me fundamentally blind to her emotional world. So I did what I thought was right. I tried harder. I listened more. I became more empathetic, more emotionally available. I started walking on eggshells, trying to be the safe space she said she needed. But the harder I tried to feel what she felt, the more disconnected we became. The more I adapted to her emotions, the less attracted she seemed. The more I supported her feelings, the less respect she gave me, and the more I let her emotions lead our relationship, the more lost I felt in it. It didn't make sense. She said she wanted connection. I gave her vulnerability. She said she wanted security. I gave her devotion. She said she wanted communication. I opened up like I never had before, and yet she pulled away. That's when I realized the problem wasn't that I didn't understand her. The problem was that I was looking in the wrong place. Her feelings didn't guide me to the truth. Her words didn't explain what she needed. But her behavior, her actions, they were screaming exactly what she truly wanted. And I had been ignoring it the whole time. After that argument, I started paying closer attention. I began to write down the things she said she wanted. She told me, "I want someone who makes me feel safe. I want a man who listens. I want kindness, respect, emotional connection." I believed her, every word, so I changed. I started checking in more. I sent good morning texts every single day. I asked about her feelings even when I was exhausted. I gave her space when she needed it. I stayed close when she asked for it. I became the man she described, the emotionally available, caring, non-threatening partner. But then something strange happened. She became colder. She stopped initiating contact. She lost that spark in her eyes. Eventually, she left. And who did she end up dating after me? A guy who barely texted her. A guy who canceled plans. A guy who didn't open up emotionally. And she chased him. I watched from a distance. She lit up for someone who gave her none of the things she said she needed. At first, I blamed her. I called her confused, unhealed, even toxic. But that was just me avoiding the truth. The truth was I didn't understand how her psychology worked, and I had made the classic mistake most men make. I listened to her words, instead of watching her behavior. She said she wanted peace, but she kept choosing chaos. She said she wanted safety, but she lit up in uncertainty. That's when I learned something important from a mentor in psychology. People don't choose what they say they want. They choose what matches their unconscious programming. And that hit me hard. It wasn't that she was lying. She wasn't faking anything. She truly believed she wanted kindness, peace, and vulnerability. But deep down, in the hidden circuitry of her nervous system, she was wired for something else. Something older, something deeper, something she didn't even fully understand. And neither did I, not until I stopped listening and started observing. The more I observed her behavior, the more I realized something disturbing. She wasn't choosing chaos because she was broken. She wasn't chasing the wrong men because she wanted to get hurt. She was following a script written long before she ever met me, a script written by biology, by survival, by thousands of years of evolution. I didn't want to believe that at first. I wanted to believe we all make conscious choices. That if someone says they want kindness, they'll choose it. But then I learned how the human brain really works, how unconscious programming can override logic, how emotional memories and instinctual drives shape attraction more than values or intentions. She wasn't confused. She was being pulled by something she couldn't explain. And so was IUC. Evolutionary psychology explains that women evolved in environments where their survival and the survival of their children depended on choosing the strongest possible partner. Not just physically strong, but mentally, emotionally, and socially dominant. In ancient times, the man who stood firm in storms was the man who could protect her, the one who stayed calm under pressure, who didn't bend to emotions, who stayed grounded no matter how chaotic things. For most of my life, I followed all the advice. The kind of advice everyone says good men should live by: be kind, be vulnerable, listen more, always communicate, treat her like a queen, and I did. Not just with her, but with every woman I ever dated. I shared my thoughts openly. I made sure she felt heard. I adjusted my behavior based on her moods. I tried to be the guy who gets it. And every single time, I ended up in the same place, alone, confused, asking myself, what did I do wrong? The women I dated said I was wonderful, thoughtful, a good guy, but they always said the same thing when they left. Well, something just missing. I didn't understand what that something was until I stopped thinking like a nice guy and started thinking like a behavioral analyst. You see, I had been taught that love means emotional alignment. That when a woman says she's sad, you must fix it. That when she says she's stressed, you must adjust your energy. That when she says she wants connection, you must become more emotionally available. But I missed the pattern. Every time I followed that path, her attraction faded, and I couldn't figure out why. Then I remembered something my mentor once told me. A woman doesn't want to control you. She wants to feel that she can't. That single insight flipped everything. She wasn't testing me to be cruel. She was testing to feel safe, to feel my strength, to see if I would fold under pressure, if I'd sacrifice my center just to keep her happy. And when I did, when I gave up my frame to please her, she lost trust in me, not consciously, not with malice, but biologically. Her body knew I was no longer leading, that I had stepped out of masculine energy and into emotional submission. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who abandons himself to please a woman. That's when I started doing the opposite of everything I had been told. I stopped over-explaining myself. I stopped asking for emotional permission. I stopped apologizing when I had done nothing wrong. Instead, I held my ground. I made decisions. I took the lead. I stayed calm when she escalated. I respected her feelings, but I didn't let them dictate my direction. At first, it felt cold. I worried I was being mean, detached, too stoic, but something strange happened. She leaned in. She softened. She stopped testing. She stopped needing constant reassurance. She smiled more. She laughed again. She respected me, not because I became less emotional, but because I became more grounded, more centered, more stable. I learned that women don't fall in love with the man who gives them everything they ask for. They fall in love with the man who knows who he is and refuses to be moved. Old me would have jumped into action, apologized, explained, tried to fix it, tried to prove that I cared, but this time I didn't move. I looked at her and said calmly, I understand you feel that way, and I care deeply about your experience. But I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't do. There was silence. She stared at me like I had just spoken in another language. Then her eyes softened, and for the first time in a long time, she reached for my hand. That's when it hit me. She didn't want me to break under pressure. She wanted to feel that I wouldn't, not for control, not for power, but for safety, for trust. She didn't need a mirror for her feelings. She needed a mountain. And when I finally became that mountain, not hard, not cruel, just unshakable, she relaxed. That moment changed everything, not just between us, but inside me. I stopped seeing emotional discomfort as something to eliminate. I started seeing it as a test, not a game, not manipulation, a biological test her nervous system needed me to pass. I stopped trying to make her happy in every moment and started focusing on what created respect over time. That's what no one tells you, that sometimes the woman who says she wants connection actually needs stability. That the man who bends to every emotional request becomes less attractive. That being kind without strength makes you forgettable, but being firm with care makes you unforgettable. I no longer chase her approval. I no longer panic at her emotions. I no longer see her feelings as orders. I see them as signals that I must lead, not follow. That shift didn't just save our relationship, it saved my self-respect. It reminded me who I was before I tried to become what every woman said she wanted. And ironically, that's when she started wanting me the most.